Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Always, yet another Pottercast. Today, in this episode, we're talking about Chapter 8 of The Potions Master, aka Alan Rickman. Oh my gosh. I mean, it's Severus Snape, but same diff.
Yeah,
No, it's not.
because there can only be one. Much like Highlander, there can only be one.
There can
There is
only.
Alan Rickman as Snape, which means that they can never remake Harry Potter ever as
I know.
films.
I know.
Ever.
They can't remake it because of Alan Rickman and Maggie Smith.
Yeah. For real. Can't do it. Can't be done.
Yeah. They can recast all the other characters if they want to, but those two, no.
For real.
Okay. So, I love the exposition in this chapter. All the background information about Hogwarts, like the staircases. I love the staircases.
The staircases it's such a cool feature. It's a great idea.
It is like this. There were 142 staircases at Hogwarts, wide sweeping ones, narrow rickety ones, some that led somewhere different on a Friday. Like, that's so cool.
Yeah, it is great.
Some with a
There
vanishing step.
there were doors that wouldn't open unless you asked politely or tickled them in exactly the right place. And doors that weren't really doors at all, but solid walls, just pretending.
I love it. Now, okay, this is another Hogwarts issue. Isn't it like a state school? Like, shouldn't they at least have signs? Whether it's a state school or not, shouldn't they at least have signs? Like, how is a person supposed to know where to go in this castle? Like, are they given
Yeah,
maps? Like, how do they know?
yeah. I feel like it's one of That's that we could add that to our list, and we should make a list of administrative queries about
For Hogwarts.
for Hogwarts.
Yeah.
Like,
Okay, so this is where it says, well, a nearly headless Nick was always happy to point new Gryffindors in the right direction, but Peeves the poltergeist was worth 2 locked doors and a trick staircase if you met him when you were late for class. Now, what exactly is a poltergeist? And what's the difference between that and a ghost?
so a ghost is just a ghost is a ghost. A ghost is a ghost is a ghost is a ghost. They're
Okay,
just it's just a ghost. Whereas
right.
a poltergeist specifically is for the purposes of haunting, tormenting, and so like it's theoretically possible that a ghost might just be chilling. Like
Oh,
you might have a ghost in your house who every now and then is just, I don't know, hanging out. Whereas a poltergeist's existence is about tormenting and uh, tricking and torturing and
oh gosh. So why does Hogwarts have one? Again.
um, it would ordinarily be so a poltergeist is usually, I think conceptually it's about how you would have if you have a poltergeist in your house, the belief would be you have a poltergeist in your house because you, the person, or your home has done something to wrong a spirit that dwelt there before you. So the poltergeist is there to punish you and torture you until you rectify the wrongdoing to said entity. So for
Interesting.
instance, so, for instance, if you built your house and then found out that you desecrated a Native American burial site, you might have a poltergeist tormenting your home until you rectify the desecration of the grave.
Okay. So I wonder what atrocity Hogwarts is
So,
making up for.
so you wonder if maybe Hogwarts was built over. Maybe Peeves was a groundskeeper that lived in like a little hut, and then Hogwarts was built there, and it desecrated his home, and how he feels like he's gonna pester and torture Hogwarts.
I'm kind of
For
surprised you didn't suggest that Peeves is there because Dumbledore left Harry in an abusive household.
But Peeves has been there since long before Dumbledore decided to leave Harry in an abusive household.
So it can't be for that reason.
Maybe Dumbledore was like, oh, I know. I'll torture all of these children with staircases that move in the same way that I tortured Harry with, oh, I don't know, a family that don't love him.
Oh my gosh. I still say that Dumbledore did not know.
he knew.
He did not. Not to the extent, I don't think. But anyway. Ooh, then we meet Argus Filch. Blah, I hate Filch.
Me too. Although the portrayal of him in the movies is excellent.
It is very good. What's his name?
He's a
Is it
little,
David Bradley? Is that his name?
yeah, David Bradley. Yeah,
He's very, very good.
and also lovely in real life.
Oh, is
So
he?
it was very disconcerting. And I was like, "Why are you so lovely?" And then yeah, he was so lovely, and I was like, "But that doesn't track."
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. And he has Mrs. Norris, which I find that's so weird. This relationship between Filch and Mrs. Norris is so strange to
yeah,
me.
like first of all, why is her name Mrs. Norris?
I know
Like,
that's a hilarious name for a cat.
it's an
Like,
excellent name for a cat, but at the same time, I hate cats, so it's great that he has a cat.
mm.
Like, I think
Ooh, and then I love it. And then once you had managed to find them, there were the lessons themselves. There was a lot more to magic, as Harry quickly found out, than waving your wand and saying a few funny words. And this
I
ex
wish someone had told Dumbledore that.
well, okay. I love all this explanation about all the classes. There's herbology, there's history of magic, there's charms, and there's transfiguration. Um, I love the way McGonagall manages her classes. I think she'd be such a good teacher.
Oh yeah, she'd be great. She'd be great. I'd sign off on her 100%.
Yes. And then there's defense against the dark arts,
Oh,
but
sorry. Can we have a conversation? The charms teacher. How would you pronounce his name?
Professor Flitwick.
Isn't that funny? It's a very English thing. So it's Flitwick. You don't
Oh,
pronounce the W.
Flitwick.
Yeah,
I had no idea.
yeah. So it would be in a similar way to how you don't say Greenwich for the place in
Oh,
London. You say Greenwich. The W is silent.
but in the films they say Flitwick, don't they?
They're
Do they
wrong. It's
do they ever even
it's.
address him by name in the films? I don't even
I don't.
remember.
I don't think so. They might do in the very last movie.
They probably do because yeah. Oh, crazy. I never knew that. Oh my gosh. I've been reading Harry Potter for 20 years and it's always been Professor Flitwick.
Nope.
Professor Flitwick. So crazy.
I know. You're welcome.
Oh
You
my
can take that to the
gosh.
bank. You can tell people that and claim that as knowledge of your own. You don't even need to credit me for it.
Gosh, all you Potter fans listening to all you millions of Potter fans listening to this, y'all probably just learned something.
That's the tea.
Oh my gosh.
Also, okay, can I have another administrative question about Hogwarts?
Yes, let's hear it.
How did how do these teachers get jobs? How do they get these jobs? Quirrell,
Yeah.
who's he defending? He couldn't defend someone against a spelling mistake, let alone a dark art. Like,
Yeah. Well, I mean, that the Defense Against the Dark Arts job is jinxed.
okay, but also, so he is an absolute idiot, let's say. Great, fine, brilliant. And then, I mean, Snape is just evil.
True.
He's just evil.
He's terrible.
Like, that's not a legitimate teacher. You can't, that's not okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I did make a note about that. Yeah. Yeah, you wonder what the hiring process is like. Yeah, you really do. Um, okay, also
Like,
something
do you think maybe Dumbledore was like, oh, Snape, you seem like the type of person that might continue to abuse someone who's just been in an abusive household for 11 years.
oh my
Keep up
gosh.
the good work.
I'm sure that was Dumbledore's exact line of reasoning. No, it was not.
I believe it.
Um, okay, so let's talk really quick about um Quirrell It said his turban, he told them, had been given to him by an African prince as a thank you for getting rid of a troublesome zombie. There are zombies in the Harry Potter universe? What?
So it would seem.
That
I
is
know.
insane.
And then, like, literally never mentioned or utilized ever again.
Yeah, that's just crazy.
But I wonder if it's because that's just a throwaway statement. And then when it became a universe, zombies become too complicated, because the
Hmm.
moment there are zombies, what's to stop characters we've seen die come back from the dead? Especially because they later talk about how death is one of the few things that can't be reversed.
Hmm. Hmm.
Like, there are limits to magic, and even the darkest magic can't bring someone back from the dead.
Hmm.
And so the zombie doesn't quite track. So I think it's one of those things where she mentioned it as a one-off thing, and then when it became a franchise, she was like, "Oh, let's
Yeah,
just pretend that."
yeah,
And also because he's lying anyway, so it doesn't matter. So
that's true. That's true. Um, okay, so Friday was an important day for Harry and Ron. They finally managed to find their way down to the Great Hall for breakfast without getting lost once. That's crazy to me. That it took them 5 days.
that's a great line, great line though.
Yeah. So the post comes and Harry gets a note from Hagrid inviting him for tea, which is great. But then it says, it was lucky that Harry had tea with Hagrid to look forward to, because the potions lesson turned out to be the worst thing that had happened to him so far.
Yeah. So
So let's talk
and we
about this
talk,
potions lesson.
and let's talk about, you are here to learn the subtle science and exact art of potion making. He began. He spoke in barely more than a whisper, but they caught every word. Like Snape had the gift of keeping a class silent without effort. As there is little foolish wand waving here, many of you will hardly believe this is magic. I don't expect you will really understand the beauty of softly simmering cauldron with its shimmering fumes, the delicate power of liquids that creep through human veins, bewitching the mind, ensnaring the senses. I can teach you how to bottle fame, brew glory, even stopper death, if you aren't as big a bunch of dunderheads as I usually have to teach.
Mm, I don't care for it. I don't care for it. It was really, it was a great speech until that last line.
Yeah, like
And
what? It's not very Snapey. Dunderhead is not a clever thing to call someone.
yeah,
Snape would have said something far more damning.
yeah, yeah. But can we talk about this scene in the film, which is absolutely
Oh, so
iconic?
good.
Oh, this was when I first realized that I had a huge crush on Alan Rickman, not on Snape. People think that I have a crush on Snape because no one
No.
knows who Alan Rickman is, and I have to say he's the dude who played Snape, and then everyone's like, "Well, you like Snape?" And I'm like, "No, I like Alan Rickman."
I find it hard to talk about Alan Rickman because he was so lovely and wonderful, and when he died, I genuinely was heartbroken.
Oh, I was so sad when he died. Oh my
I
gosh.
just, yeah, he was such a nice man and so nurturing, and really just, he was so incredible. When we were filming, he had, like, there were so many times that he would like, people would, like, the background artists playing the students would come up to him and say, "Oh, I have an audition for drama school or whatever, and I was wondering if you might give me some advice." And he'd never turn them away. He'd always say, "Oh, absolutely, of course. Why don't you talk to me about your audition pieces? I'd love to help." And he would always help
Oh.
people. And he once asked me to pass the ketchup, and I nearly fainted. And
Oh my gosh. Oh. Oh, Alan Rickman. I love you so much. I miss you so much. Oh my
yeah,
gosh. Is this the
um,
scene? I see, I haven't watched the film in a long time. Is this scene where he says, turn to page 394? Is that is that the scene where he does that?
it is theoretically possible. I
I
don't
can't
remember.
remember.
No, because when he's doing that is when he's covering the turn to page 394 is when he's covering the dark arts class for Lupin in the third
Oh, it's
movie.
the third. Okay, yeah. Got it.
I also love that this whole time when he's like jabbing Harry about how much he doesn't know, Hermione is just sat there going, "Oh,
I know.
maybe."
I know. And
She's
then
a
okay,
mood.
so we get a sassy Harry line, which I also love these, where it's I don't know, said Harry quietly. I think Hermione does though. Why don't you try her? Like, lay it down, Harry.
Yeah,
I love it.
yeah, he's sassy. That's some sass right there.
And it's interesting that Snape only takes 1 point from him. Like, never again in the series do people take 1 point at a time. They take 5 points or 10 points or,
Yeah,
multiples of five. Um,
yeah, and then you see. I mean, and again, okay. I understand that like magic medicine is real good, but it's their first potions lesson, and they're doing something so dangerous that Neville nearly kills himself.
I know. I know.
Do they not have like health and safety protocols at Hogwarts?
Clearly not. But oh, and then this, you, Potter, why didn't you tell him not to add the quills? Thought he'd make you look good if he got it wrong, did you? That's another point you've lost for Gryffindor. Okay, Snape, stop being such a you-know-what.
I know,
It,
and also he's all like, "Oh, I hate you because you're 11 and look a little bit like the man that the girl who never loved me back married instead." It's not like she left Snape for Harry's dad. She never loved Snape. You know what? We can't.
yeah,
We could do an entire series about how Snape needs to get over himself. Just because he's in love with Lily does not entitle him to her love.
it's
I will
true.
not be fun.
We're gonna have
Anyway,
many.
we're going to go to Hagrid's house, so that's nice.
Yes. Oh, and we meet Fang. I love Fang.
Oh.
Fang's cute. Okay. Um, um,
Also, what the heck is a rock cake?
I don't know. Presumably like a little cupcake thing that is really not baked well.
One would assume. So then we've got, okay, so they're in Hagrid's hut, which is great. And then I really like that. So he's reading the newspaper again about the break-in at Gringotts. And what I really enjoy is that you forget how much the Harry Potter books are also mysteries. Like
Hmm.
this is the first time where we're alerted to the fact that something is amiss.
Hmm.
Something isn't quite what it should be. And
Hmm.
it's really great. So um, as Harry and Ron walked back to the castle for dinner, their pockets weighed down with the rock cakes that they'd been too polite to refuse, Harry thought that none of the lessons he'd had so far had given him as much to think about as tea with Hagrid. Had Hagrid collected the package just in time? Where was it now? And did Hagrid know something about Snape that he didn't want to tell Harry?
Hmm.
It's so good. It's like mystery.
Yes. And okay, this is another technique that Rowling uses a lot through the series. She uses the Daily Prophet, like articles in the Daily Prophet,
Yeah,
as like because it's things that are going on in the wizarding world to alert the Hogwarts students, hey, something's going on. But
yeah,
nobody takes it seriously except for Harry, Ron, and Hermione.
yeah. I definitely agree. And it's a really good way to end the chapter.
It is. It really is.
Really good way to end.
Yes. Okay, that's chapter
All right,
8.
and that's that.
We'll see you next time for chapter
Thanks
9,
for listening, everyone.
where all
Okay,
the stuff goes down.
bye. It all goes
Bye.
down. Bye.